It's time to embrace it. The Community Podcast, exploring the intricacies of personal growth, mental health, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Topics tailored for a global audience. Now, let's talk about it with your host, Bracy Goodwin.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining in again to the Embrace It Community Podcast. Hope y'all doing all right on this Sunday evening. I'm doing well. I just want everybody to know I'm doing well, but I thank you all for joining in today. It's a good show ratings that we've been getting, and I'm so glad that you all have been sharing and liking, but I need you all to continue to do me a favor and just share these shows, share them, post them on your page. All right, so post them on your page, YouTube, especially on YouTube. I'm really trying to get more followers on the YouTube side. So I need you all to follow on the YouTube side. But thank you for supporting the Embrace It Community Podcast page as well. You know, my followers that's on there, everyone that's watching from all over the country. I appreciate you all for watching. I don't take it for granted that I never mention you all. So I just want you all to know I appreciate you all for watching, and those that let me know when I do see them out in the streets that you are watching as well. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it so much. So here's the show tonight. You know, like I always start my show off with suicide prevention. That is my big advocacy on suicide prevention. I want you to know that you are needed. You are not alone. I want you to know that your life matters to me. I want you to know that your life matters to your family, loved ones, and friends. So please, 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. This is Spanish. It's in English as well. Call, toll free, confidential, as many times as you need. So please reach out if you are having some problems mentally, physically, no matter what it is. Please call, and just talk about it. Don't hold it in. Can't hold everything in. The things that we talk about on the show, you know, I tell people, the reason why I'm picking these topics, because I refuse to hold this stuff in, that I think it matters to the community. It matters to the men. It matters to the women. It matters to everyone. So that's why I want you to know. That's why I choose these topics here, because it's about real life situations that we deal with. And sometimes we all get that moment where we're just feeling alone. We're feeling depressed, down, and don't even want to be here anymore. 988 Suicide Crisis Hotline. If you do have your employees insurance too, you can reach out to the EAP. They will help you on that as well. But I want you to reach out to somebody. Don't think that you're in this alone, please. Thank you so much. And at the top of the show, I want you to know that the Embrace It Community Podcast, really, we do appreciate you supporting on the Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate you doing that. The little QR code in the upper corner. You can click on that QR code and support the show the best way you can. $2, $4, $5, whatever you want to do. Do it on a daily, monthly, however you want to do it. So please support. That's what I need you to do. And then if you want to go directly to the website, it's buymeacoffee.com/embrace it. You can go there and support us, support this journey that I'm on here and the quest. Also have an email address if you want to email me. Send me an email if you want. Let's talk about it on the email. Let's share your ideas. Drop some comments in here too while we're on the show. This show is going to be a good show, but you can also reach me on the Embrace It Community Podcast at gmail.com. I'll put it back up at the end of the show, but I want you to all know that I appreciate you responding. I appreciate you sharing everything that you've shared with me throughout this journey. Every time I look at the library, man, I can't believe it's another month. It's another year. Man, we are going strong here that I'm doing this. So I appreciate your support. All right, let's get into this topic. I want to get into this topic because it's a lot of information. And I like to choose topics that deal with home when things like that hit home. So I try to share on a professional level of what to do and how to do this thing. So that's what I want to do tonight. And I posted earlier during the week, I wanted to talk about some of the things that we as men deal with on a regular basis. And so I titled the show tonight, Shackled by the System. And what system is that? And it's that child support system. Child support, all right, your employment and your passport to freedom. And some things that I've discovered with dealing with the whole passport and child support system, that it's something that'll really set you back for a minute when you hear what I'm about to talk about on this. So the raw conversation is honest. Everything that I'm about to talk about is honest, and how men can rise above the financial burdens, the broken system, and the barriers that standing between them and their destiny. So this is why I chose this one. So I want to welcome you back, family. So you're locked in with the Embrace the Community podcast. This is a place where we don't run from hard conversations. We run towards them, because somebody out there needs to hear exactly what, where, and what the things that we're about to say tonight, and how it's going to help you or somebody that you know. So I want you to imagine something with me. You've been doing the right thing pretty much all your life if you have children. You've updated your address, you've shown up for your kids, and you've done those things, and you've got a job interview lined up. And the job interview didn't go through. And they told you the reason why they could not proceed on with the job is because you owe child support arrears. Wow, that's a blow, because you're trying to work and get better employment to help you with paying your child support, but that's part of the system in certain types of agencies. Then you go to get your passport, and maybe it's for work. I know if you're a truck driver, you might have to go to Canada and those places. So it might be for work, or maybe it's just a dream you've been chasing just to get away. And then you get to find out that you can't have one. And why can't you have one? Because you've got a child support balance over $2,500. The federal government has flagged your application, job locked, passport locked. And the system says to you, pretty much, figure it out. So tonight we're talking about one of the most silently devastating issues affecting fathers in the country, especially Black men. And we're talking about child support, unemployment, and the barriers that keep men from moving forward, even when they're trying to do everything right. And we're not going to point out the problem. What we're going to do, we're going to find the way through it. This is why I'm talking about this. I want us to try to find a way through this barrier that the government, the state that you live in, has said you cannot get a certain type of job because you owe arrears and child support. You cannot get a passport because you owe arrears and child support. So let's go for it. Now, one scripture that sticks out to me a lot, that I come across a lot, and I says in the Bible, it says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. That's in Jeremiah 29:11. So here it is. The numbers don't lie. 40% of Black custodial parents with legal child support order versus 57% white parents. 43% compliance rate among Black non-custodial parents versus 66% white. So our numbers here are looking at, like, if you made $15,000 annual, for many Blacks, that's non-custodial fathers. That's $15,000. 15% of Black fathers in large city are jailed for non-payment of child support versus 5% overall of men. Did you hear what I just said? 15% of men are jailed for non-support of child support. So let's talk about the facts before we talk about feelings, because I need you to understand that the why you may be experiencing what you're experiencing is not just a personal failure. It's a system pattern. It's not you. It's not you at all. And I'm talking to those Black men that work hard and trying to make sure they can meet all meet all their needs, whether it's child support, whatever your obligations are. You're doing your best. So, research tells us that only 40% of Black custodial parents have a legal child support order compared to 50%, 57% of white parents. The gap matters because without a legal agreement, you have no defined standard, nothing clear path. So, just open up with me. I want you to do this. I want you to open because it's confusing. It's a conflict and courts of systems. Everything is confusing every time you try to go. I promise you, I'm speaking from experience, especially in New York State. It is so confusing there and it hurts. I recall going one time, getting a letter in the mail saying that you need to show up at this date and this time. If you don't show up at this date and time, your license will be suspended. Okay, so I make my way to this appointment, took off from work to get down there to this appointment. And I would say there had to have been about 100 of black men, only black men I remember seeing in this room, waiting to be called. When they called you, the only thing they said, "Where are you working?" Like they didn't know. They ask you where you're working and how much you're making, like they already didn't know. So you're telling them what they need to know. All right, if anything changes, let us know. So you sat there all day long, waiting for them to call you, for them to ask you the same questions they could have asked you over the phone, and then let you leave. Waste of time, waste of your day, loss of pay, whatever you had to do. But these are things that we're dealing with. Now, here's where it gets painful. Black non-custodial parents comply with their formal orders in the rate about 43 to 44%, while white non-custodial parents are 66%. And I'm not here to excuse non-payment. No, that's not what I'm here. But I want you to ask why. Why? Why? Because the data tells us something critical in many black fathers are earning less than $15,000 a year. Some of them are. And you cannot squeeze water from a rock if you're making only $15,000 a year. That's impossible, but the system doesn't care. You try to let the court system know that you're only making $15,000 a year. Can we modify my order? It's pulling teeth. I mean, it really is pulling teeth. They'll say to you, you need to find another way to make some more money. It's really sad. So I'm just telling you some of the things that I experienced. And the punishment for that is about 15% of black fathers in major cities have been incarcerated. Like I said, that's it. You're going to jail if you owe, depending on the dollar amount, what state it is too. I know Texas is like that. Georgia, I do believe it's like that. So when incarceration becomes the answer to poverty, we're not just solving anything, we're just making it worse. It's just worse. Okay. Nothing's going to get better. So I say all of that to say this. This isn't about who loves their kids more. This is about a system that was built without men like us in mind. And tonight we're figuring out how to navigate it anyway. That's like you getting locked up for, oh, you didn't have your license on you, your insurance expired. It doesn't matter. You still going in a jail with murderers, people that was convicted of murder. So it's a system, man. So the passport. Now let's talk about the passport lockout because this is something that I've experienced and dealing with today. Just realized some things in that today. So now, something most people don't know, if you owe more than $2,500 in child support arrears, the federal government, under the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act, can and will deny your passport application or revoke the one you already have. That's right. If you owe more than $2,500 in arrears, they can come after your passport. Why? It's just another form of punishment. So think about what this means in the real world. Like I said, you get a job offering in another country, right? And when they check all your information out, you like have an opportunity to work overseas and make this money, and then you're denied. You're denied unless you're in the military. That's different. Okay, you want to travel for ministry. What about if you want to travel for ministry? Those are in ministry or business. You're trying to start up a business, all right, for a conference. If you need to go to a conference outside the country and they're saying that you're denied, you can't even do it. You're a veteran who has served this country and want to see the world and denied because the system categorizes you as a debtor before it sees you as a man with purpose. They also will put your arrears of child support on your credit report and say it's a debt. And when you call the system, you speak to your case manager and say, why is this showing up on my credit report as a debt that I owe? And they'll deny. They say, no, we don't do that. Well, somebody's doing that because it's there. I need it removed. And each time you try to dispute it, it still comes back the same. So it's a system. I'm telling you, it's a system. It's a broken system because the social worker doesn't even know why it's being done, but it's being done. So here's what you need to know about the process. So, like I said, federal government office and child support office, they become one and they submit names to the State Department. Once your name is on that list, your passport is held. But there is, here's the key: you do have options. You do have options when you come down. First, if your balance is over $2,500 or more, you can enter in a formal payment agreement or make a lump sum payment to bring you below the threshold. All right. And then once the agency certifies that you comply with the limit or are below the limit, your name can be removed from the denial list. It's now that's a process too, because speaking with my case manager just here recently, trying to clear up my debt the best way I can. I've been paying my child support and paying arrears and everything like that, but there's still a little bit more. And here's how I got there. I'll be transparent. During COVID, during COVID time in 2020, when everything was shut down, I didn't have a job when I moved from Ohio to Texas. I didn't have a job. So I started accumulating arrears on my child support. And this is where the arrears came from. And so when I did start working, of course, I immediately let them know, here's where I'm working and here's where you need to take out from. So they began taking out the money. But of course, it that amount that you accrued, it's not going anywhere. It's what you owe. And I asked for a hearing to appeal it. And they scheduled me a hearing. I talked to my case manager and their legal person that was in the room. And they said to me, well, why are you just now coming to us now? I said, well, first of all, I said, I've been working, making my obligations and paying my obligations. And so I didn't think this would be a problem, knowing that as you look at the record, when the amount of the arrears started showing up, it started showing up from June 2020 on and to the day I started working, but it didn't matter to them. So we'll take all this consideration. And lo and behold, when I got my letter back, it said, sorry, it's been denied. The order still stands. You can appeal this by contacting another office in the Department of Child Support. Tried to call that office. No one knew what I was talking about. I mean, I got bounced around, just kept bouncing me around, and it just got frustrating. And the deadline that they gave me was like 10 days to get this done, but nobody can point me in the right direction. And man, what's the first thing that come to your mind? You're thinking about how evil the system is. And then you start thinking how evil the person is that got you in this situation. And I had a talk with a brother just this last week. And I said to him, I said, man, I said, I can't point the finger because there's three fingers pointing back at me. All right. Because I was the one who did what I did to bring this child. He says, no, man, you can't do that. You can't do that because you know you've been doing what you're supposed to do. You know, you've been paying your bills, man. You've been taking care of what you can. I said, yeah, I know. I said, but it's hard to point when I'm looking at this. So my prayer, my prayer has been, Father, help me, man. You said ask, and you said it shall be given. I said, I'm not asking for $1 million. I'm just asking to be able to make enough money so that when I have money, I won't need money, if that makes sense to you. It's just like that's just how I started getting that way. And I'll be honest with you, doors have been opening. Doors have been opening. So now I know what I need to do. I'm able to do it because I believe my prayer was answered in a faster time than I would have been able to do it if the door didn't open. I wish I'd known this, a long time ago, but it did it. But Anyway, it's going to take time, fellas. It's going to take time, but it is possible. That's why I wanted to share and be transparent with me, because the only way, I think a lot of people will chime in and be, wow, me too. If somebody would be transparent, I'm willing to be transparent. Yes, I have some arrears that I need to pay off, but I'm going to do it, and I'm not embarrassed by it because arrears doesn't define who I am. Okay. That's foolish to even think about that. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, second, and this is probably going to be two shows because, like I said, I try to keep you like 30 minutes on this. So, if you are actively disputing the balance, okay, you want to document everything, who you talk to, who's your caseworker, who's your social worker. Keep those numbers, keep that email, keep corresponding. If you change jobs, let them know. Just stay in contact with them and request a review of your order through your state child support agency. If the order was set when you had a higher income and your circumstances have changed, like me, you have a right to seek a modification. Use that right. It may be a few dollars, but use that right, okay, to get this thing modified. Third, if this is tied up to an employment opportunity abroad or mission trip, say something like that, that you're working in ministry and there's a hardship exemptions that it's worth exploring with the family law and attorney. Now, I'll tell you what my case manager said. She said, if the company that I'm working for required me to travel out of the country, I need to get it in writing on their letterhead, stating that my job requires me to go to Canada or wherever, and they will send it off to the state, and it has to be approved or not. So, and I think the main thing that's going to approve it or deny it, if they're going to look back and see has he been paying consistently. Of course, they're going to do that. So that's a part of it. So if you haven't been paying consistently and you've been dodging the bullet and just really now realizing that you're trying to take a cruise with your new wife or your new boo, and now she's looking at you side eye because you never had a conversation with her about your arrears and your child support. That's your fault. That's all your fault, man. This thing right here, we can't walk around with this luggage dragging behind us. And when we're asked about what's in that suitcase that you've been dragging all this time, nothing. Just leave it alone. Better have a conversation. And I'm just being real. Talk about this mess. All right. The bottom line is this: the passport isn't out of reach, but you do have to be strategic, okay? Disciplined and persistent in getting there. When I tell you, your attitude better change, like take that anger that you have and that frustration and put it in the corner when you talk to the people at child support. Because I promise you, talk talk side eye to that woman answering your call on that child support. That's your case manager. She'll be worse than that mama that you owe that money to, because she'll make sure that you don't get nothing. So you make sure when you call them, hey Susan, how are you? Yeah, I'm doing good. I just want to let you know that I am now working here and I appreciate you taking my call. Talk like that, man. And then they'll work with you. And that's what I do. And that's just something that I do because mine said, hey, Gracie, let me know when you get to below. Because should I tell how much I owe? I think that's too much information. That's too much. I'm not going to tell how much. But she said, when, when you get below $2,500, let me know. And then go ahead and send the letter immediately over. And like I said, this is because I built a relationship with my case manager. So, but my people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Okay. So you better remember, get your knowledge, get this education and learn about this and learn how to handle this. Stop pointing the finger. Stop getting mad at her, the mother, for all of this stuff. Don't do it. That's a waste of energy and a waste of your time. Handle your business. I've tried that. There was a time when I was in Ohio, I was going for a law enforcement academy and I was about to go see my background investigator. And I was on my way there. I was about to turn and find somewhere to park. And he said, hey, Bracy, hey, I got some disturbing news, man. We can't move forward because you have arrears in child support. And I said, come on, talk it. And I said, this was an opportunity to make more money than what I was making. And they said, well, we'll give you a year. We'll give you a year to try to clear this up. You give a year, we can continue on the process. Or you can ask the custodial parent to, you know, reduce the arrears or dismiss it. So I did make that call at that time, and the response that I was given was no. It was no. I'm not doing it, and I didn't argue. I didn't want to go there. It hurt. It really made me angry. My best friend was like, "I don't understand why she don't see the big picture. Once you get on the force, you'll be able to make good money, more money." And I said, "I know, man, I know." And I said, "I refuse to allow this situation right here to take me out of character and really get ugly." A lot of us don't have that self discipline, but I had that self discipline, and I swallowed that. It hurt. When I tell you it hurt. So when it comes down to the job that goes away that you want, it really does sting, especially as a man, and you're trying to do everything you can do. So the employment side is this, because this is where the spiral can begin. You can either lose your job or lay off. I know military too. Now they're on the thing with credit, and if you're not maintaining your credit or your support, you're facing discipline there. So all right. So if you lose your job, and maybe it's a layoff, and maybe your company downsize, these things happen to men all the time. Maybe your industry have shifted, went to another country, and immediately, without missing a beat, the child support order keeps running. So if you're in between jobs and getting even unemployment, say you're getting unemployment, it's best to let the your case manager know that you're in between jobs, you're receiving unemployment, and of course they're going to attach an order to your unemployment too. It's just something that you have to deal with. Okay, the court does not pause at all. They will not pause. They won't stop. Nothing's going to stop, and the balance doesn't freeze. And if you don't act quickly, the arrears will begin to stack up and up and up to debt where it can really devastate you in the long run. So here's something critical. You must file for the modification as soon as possible. And they normally respond right quickly, send you a letter, and you have to put down all your income. And as your income changes, all right, not when you get settled, do it right away. All right. Not when you figure it out, do it right away. Not when you figure out your next move, do it right in the moment. Just do it. Get it done. In the moment your circumstances changes, those are the first people that you want to call. You don't want to call your bank first, you want to call child support first. You don't want to call your rental office or your mortgage company, you want to call child support, because mortgage, rent office, leasing office will work with you. Child support won't, unless you ask for a modification. You have to know what to ask for. All right. So the agency will request for review in your order, and many states will allow modifications when there's been a substantial change in your income, typically about 15 to 20% or more. Like I said, it's not a lot. It's just going to be modified. And then it also is modified too if you have multiple cases open too. They'll take all of that in consideration. So, what happens if you don't? Here we go. What's going to happen if you don't? The court will not automatically adjust. The arrears will be accumulating each and every day. And those arrears can follow you to your next job. It can follow you for everything that you're trying to do, because in many states, employers can be legally required to withhold child support orders directly from your paycheck the moment you're hired. All right. That's called an income withholding order. And if the balance has grown while you were unemployed, your first check at the new job might already be a large chunk taken out than you plan. Okay, can I be transparent again? I'll never forget. I was working for a company in Ohio, and I got my check, and I kid you not, the only thing that was left out of my check when my support and Uncle Sam got his money was $25. $25. And I laughed. And I just laughed. And my coworker said, "Man, what you laughing at?" I showed him my check. He said, "How could you laugh at this?" I said, "I got to laugh to keep from crying, bro." So $25, needless to say, didn't go anywhere because I haven't eaten. I haven't put gas in my car. I haven't paid my phone bill or anything like that. So yeah, I'm here today. I made it through it. So I know, like I said, this thing hurts, man. This thing is It's a gut punch. Some men don't know what to do about it. And certain professional license, like I said, contractor license, commercial driver's license, even your nurse's license and legal licenses can be suspended in the state like Texas. All right. When child support arrears go past the threshold, this means child support can literally take your tool you use to earn money and lock it away. All right. So we need to talk about that. So Texas is no joke. I don't know if anybody else is in another state watching. Let me know what your state orders are like in Georgia. Let me know what it's like and still in New York. New York, when I had a case in New York, my daughter, my oldest daughter, I had to pay until she was 21 years old. I never understood that. 21, not 18, not going to college, 21, just 21. And I said to the lady, I said, well, what if she got married at 20? You're still going to pay child support to a woman that's married. Make sense? No, it doesn't. But that's the system. So what do you do? What do we do? Three moves immediately. The number one, here's what it is. Number one, and then we're gonna get off this thing tonight. But I might talk about this again and see what if I get some feedback. I might talk about this next week. You want to file for that modification now. File for it now. Don't wait. Number two, communicate with your child support case agency, your caseworker, your social worker. You have the number. If you don't know what it is, call the number and they'll give it to you. All right. Silence reads as avoidance. So if you don't say anything, they'll make it seem like you're avoiding them. So you better speak up. Engagement reads as cooperation. So cooperate. Call the number three. If you are receiving unemployment benefits, know that in many states, as a portion of it, it can be automatically redirected to child support. Let's not even talk about your taxes. You got any money coming back from taxes, you owe arrears. It's gone. All right. The factor in that your survival budget, it has to begin from day one. So it doesn't catch you off guard. That's the thing. So here's the thing, rising above, the path moving forward. This is what I want you to know. I want to be honest with you right now. All right. There's a war going on, and it's not just legal, it's spiritual. This is a spiritual battle as well. It's an emotional battle that you got to deal with. Because when a man feels like he can't provide, like the system has concurred for him to do and made him do, and like every door is closing, the enemy will speak into that moment and he'll tell you that you're worthless. Men, listen, and that your kids are better off without you being around. I'm just telling you from facts. These are facts. And that's when you feel that there's no way out, please do me a favor. Rebuke that. Rebuke that lie tonight. Don't listen to that lie. Your children need you. Your presence more than you think they do. You're not perfect. They don't want a perfect dad. They need a dad to be around. So your financial situation, it does not. It's just a season. Okay. It's a season, not a sentence, not a life sentence. You can make it a life sentence if you never do anything about it. You can do that. All right. And you are not your balance. Your balance does not define who you are. I refuse to believe that I am a loser because I have arrears. No, everybody goes through that. I remember there was an artist that was talking about his situation in court. He was paying it, Tyrese, but he was still going through more situations than what we're going through and what we're talking about. So here's what I need you to do. Step one. All right. Then we're going to call it a night here. Know your legal rights and use them. If you don't have an attorney, contact your local legal aid society. All right. In Texas, I know where I'm at, they have a legal aid society. If you're a veteran, you can use them too. Legal aid in Texas, they offer free civil legal help. Many family law attorneys offer payment plans as well. Okay, they get you done. But when you have an attorney, that speaks different when you go to court, especially for a modification. So some law schools, they have clinics that handle child support modification cases. All right. So some of the students in school, they might be able to help you out as well. All right. You don't have to navigate through this alone. Please. You're not alone. And be broke at the same time. There's help. There is help. So step two, pursue income aggressively and document every dollar. All right. Your side work, your gig, economic, everything that you're doing, seasonal jobs, it all counts. All right. And so, yeah, you're trying to make money to make up the money that you're having to pay out. If you can pay any more to that system, log on to that system and make an extra payment, and you'll see it go away quicker than you can ever imagine. So it's not just for your survival, your family has survived too, especially if you're remarried in another relationship and you do owe child support. All right. Because when you return to court for the modification, all right, consistent efforts in your job search and alternative income will work in your favor. They will see that you've been trying here. Courts respond to demonstrated efforts. That's what they'll look at and see what effort have you been making. Step three, work your way back to passport eligibility as soon as possible. Strategically set a pay off target. If your balance is $4,800, your goal is to get it to $2,499, even if that means making consistent partial payments over the next 6 months. Map it out. Map it out. Put it on the calendar. Treat it as if it's a mission because it really is. All right. That's what you need to do. Step four, build your community. Men, we talk about community. It's so important that we have a group of community. It's not just the barbershop talk, but you need a community of men that you can trust to talk about what you got going on because you never know who might know something. So, like I said, throw me a chat. Let me know. I'll help you out here. In this situation, it often seems like you are suffering alone because of shame. But it's isolation and the enemy, that's the enemy's strategic one. They want you to think that you're the only one going through this. Get around other men who have been through this and come out on the other side. I'm here to raise my hand. I'm willing to help anybody that's been dealing with this. I can share with you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not an oncoming train. Trust me. That's why this podcast exists today. This is why I also have the men's locker room. That's why that exists. We are not designed to carry this weight alone. You're not. You can play that you're strong all you want, but you're not strong, brother. You need us. Step five, anchor yourself spiritually. That's the other thing I want to tell you. Make sure you have a relationship with God, man. That's talking about you one-on-one meditation, one-on-one uh, prayer, talking to yourself every morning. Like I say, every morning I wake up, today is going to be a peaceful day. And in saying that, I make sure that my day is peaceful. All right. Even when you get bad news in the mail, even when you find out that your passport can't be renewed. So I've watched men come through situations that look like they're absolutely impossible. I've seen it happen. I've seen men make it through it. The job loss, the mounting of debt, the broken relationships, and come out with a testimony, not because they had the right or was doing what was right, is because they had the right support system. But that's what I want you to make sure that you understand. You got to have the right support system. But because they had the right God, all right, don't let the financial crisis become a faith crisis. Don't let it work, shackle your faith. You keep your faith strong. Stay strong in that faith. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but it can happen for you. So that's what I want you to remember that. Remember that this is not a time to press. It's I'll say it like this. This is the time to press harder. You got to keep pressing harder. Don't drift any further away. Keep pressing. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, including navigating broken systems and come out with my integrity intact. That's my Philippians 4 and 13. Okay. I can do these things, and you got to keep saying it to yourself. So before we close, I want to leave you with something. Um, like I said, this stuff that we go through, it, it may seem like it's no tomorrow. It may appear to be like there's no way out, but this is no way out. Here's what I want to do. Something you can do this. All right. Here's the first I want you to do. Write this down. Number one, file for modification today. If your income has changed, contact your child support office agency today, tomorrow morning, whatever you need to do, just contact them. All right. Set a passport threshold. Here's some other things I want you to do. If you're over $2,500, you got to set a passport threshold, especially if you're planning a vacation or cruise or something like that. You want to do that. contact your legal aid in your areas, please. They're all over. So make that call, Google it, YouTube it, find it. All right. And if there is a court date, never miss that court date. Do what you got to do to make sure that you're there. Absence is an interpretation as defiance. That's how they're going to look at that. Okay. Communicate over emails, contact them, talk to them, make sure you're communicating with them. A phone call to your child support worker or your caseworker, acknowledging your situation is always better than silence. So you make sure you do that. All right. Join a community of accountability with some good men, not just the barbershop, but with some real good men that's not going to laugh and sit at the bar, drink about everything, and go smoke some weed or whatever you got to do. That's not helping nothing. Because if you got money to go buy weed, you could take that same money and go put it on your child support. Okay. Yeah, I know that hurts. So do what you got to do. This is what I want you to do. So keep working at it. All right. Nobody said that this road was going to be easy. But I'll tell you this, the road that you're on right now is the right road. All right. It's not the end of the story. It's not the end of the track. It's not a dead end. All right. And where the testimony is, this is where the testimony is. Here's the testimony that's being written because you're going through this stuff right now. And you'll have a testimony because you made it through the test. You sat, you listened to somebody that helped you make it through the test. Speaking from transparency, you will make it through this test. Now, this is it. That's all I need to tell you. I'm Bracy Goodwin. I love me, and that's how I'm able to love you. So this has been the Embrace It Community Podcast. Don't forget to watch, share. You're not alone. I'm telling you, you're not alone. And so until the next time I see you, embrace it. Embrace this situation and don't let it defeat you. All right? God bless. Take care of yourself. Think, pray, and keep the faith. I'm out.
Thank you for listening to Embrace It, the community podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Follow the community podcast page on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please like and share the podcast with your community circle.